We're joined now by Tennessee student athletes Igor Milicic Jr., Jemai Mashak, and Chaz Lanier. At this time, we will take your questions for student athletes. Please raise your hand and we'll bring you a microphone. Second row here on the right.
For Chaz and Igor, you guys have worked all year, maybe all your lives, to get to this moment. Obviously, this team has big goals in front of them. So what's this like being here today, about to take the floor for the first time in an NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a blessing to sum it up in one word, to be on this journey with a great group of guys, a special coaching staff. It just means the world to me. This season has been so much fun, and we still have big aspirations to win it all. So we're in a good place, and I'm excited.
I mean, like you said, we work hard to be here, and it's truly amazing to, finally be here. It's the first round, and we're pumped up, we're excited. I'm excited. It's my fourth year of college, and I've never been to the big dance, and I've been looking forward to this my 4 years. So it's big time, and definitely ready.
Jemai?
It's exciting. Just being able to be blessed to be here all 4 years is kind of something that doesn't usually happen for guys. So I definitely don't take it for granted. But honestly, I'm just happy for the guys that are able to be here for their first time, being able to experience the whole thing, and hopefully we can go as far as any team in Tennessee history is going.
Second row here on the left.
Hey, Trey Wallace from Outkick and Fox. Chaz, Jamar, Igor, looking back, kind of refreshing, hitting the reset button from Sunday in Nashville. It's only been a couple of days, and you guys hop on a bus here to Lexington. What's that mindset been like over the last 2 to 3 days? Just kind of put that one in the rearview mirror and get ready for the tournament.
Chaz, can you start?
Yeah, our mentality was to just wash it out, kind of reflect on the season. We've had a great season, and to not really soak in that loss. We've had a great season, an amazing year. So now it's time to wash that SEC championship loss out and move on to the tournament, get ready for Wofford.
Igor?
I mean, it was hard at the moment to lose that last game, but we gotta move forward and flip the page and be ready for the next game. So we got bigger goals for the season, and we're gonna try to prepare for the next game. So it was hard, but we gotta flip the page and be ready for the next one.
Jemai?
It was definitely tough. Nobody likes to lose. I hate losing. But like Chad said, we're not going to soak in it, but we're going to use it as fuel. And I think that's something that we've always talked about ever since we had that loss, is using that as fuel to go as far as possible, to try and reach, the end of this tournament as well, just because we had such a really good tournament and probably the best conference, ever. So we're really excited about being able to do well in there and carrying that momentum into March.
Second row here on the right.
Rob Lewis with VolQuest.com. Jemai, for you personally, just what does it mean to be a player that's been in every season you've been in college in this tournament? How much pride do you take in that? What does it say about the Tennessee program?
It's definitely a blessing. It's definitely something I don't take for granted. For me, being able to be as healthy as I've been, being able to have an opportunity to play. Some guys make it there but don't have the opportunity to play because of injuries or, other outside stuff. So being, blessed enough to be able to be healthy and still be able to win and, doing it at a great program with new players coming in every year. It's definitely something I don't take for granted. So I'm going to appreciate the moment. I'm going to make sure that I take it one day at a time and, like I said, soak it in the moment, but wanting to get the most out of this tournament by going as far as we can.
Let's start here on the right first.
Yeah, Jemai, Ben Baby with ESPN. Obviously, you've been in the program, these last 4 years. Why do you feel like this team might be well suited to make a deep run? And what kind of advice do you give guys having been in the tournament, having experience being a high seed, into making sure y'all make the deep run that y'all are looking for?
Man, I think the biggest difference between this team and all the teams I've been a part of is this team has really gone through some wild stuff this year. Like we've really gone through some really down parts in this year. It's been a rough road and a lot of stuff that people don't really even realize, with, our guy being injured at the beginning of the season, JP, us losing players to transfer portal, guys going through mental health stuff. It's been a really really hard year for us. Times where we, all we're practicing and it doesn't even feel like we have enough players to practice, and that's something that doesn't happen a lot at high majors. So being able to fight through all that, go through that adversity, playing in the toughest conference ever, being able to sustain, injuries, being able to sustain mental health, and still having each other's back, people don't realize how hard that is. And I think that's something that this program especially has gone through that no other program has really had to fight through. So I think the resilience that we have Teflon skin, we have tough skin. So having all that experience is going to help us in the long run. I think that's the difference between this team and why we're going to make it far as the experience.
Third row here on the left.
Wes Rucker, 24/7 Sports. Jemai, I know that y'all haven't gone out there and practiced on the floor yet. You're going to do that in a little bit, but the bus pulling into this place, how is it weird to kind of wrap your brain around this being a place where you're playing an NCAA tournament game? Because normally it's strapping up for like a road fight.
Yeah, it's a little weird, playing in an arena like this, but. Like I always say, like I'm never gonna speak down about the arena I'm playing in because I feel like it just creates bad, vibes, and I don't want to, that to happen to any of us. So I always say I love playing at this arena. I love the gym, I love the courts, love everything about this arena because I think it's gonna help me play better if I talk like that. So I think I can speak for all of us to saying we're excited to play at an arena like this, and we're gonna go out and hopefully use the experience that we played in here as an advantage over the other team.
Any other questions? On the right?
Yeah, Chaz, Ben Baby with ESPN. When you look at how you've played this season, how do you feel like your form is going into this game? And maybe what would you like to show starting now towards the end of this tournament?
Yeah, I feel like I've had a great season so far. I know I still have some areas of growth and where I need to get better. And that's just my main focus for the tournament. Just doing what my teammates need me to do, what my coaches need me to do to get the job done. We all have one common goal in mind, and that's what we're here to set out to do.
Any other questions? Third row on the left.
Wes Rucker, 24/7 Sports. Igor, when y'all went back and kind of scrubbed out the film from that Florida game and the rebounding stuff, what was some of the issues there? Because that looked like in that game it was as hard for y'all to rebound as it was at any point during the season. What went wrong there?
We didn't bring the physicality. We had foul trouble. It was just hard that game. We weren't there. Our heads weren't there. We got to pick it up and just be better next games. It can't happen again because we won't get another shot. So we just got to make sure we bring the rebounding, we bring the physicality, we bring the fight, and we bring the dog in us that's been in us the whole season. So, that's probably the biggest part.
Anything else? Great, gentlemen. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. At this time, we want to welcome to Lexington, Tennessee head coach Rick Barnes. We appreciate your time, Coach. If you would please start us off with an opening comment, and we'll take questions from the media.
Well, again, congratulations to all the team that made it to the tournament this year. It's always an incredible experience to get here, something you never take for granted. And we know that we have a very tough opponent first round against Wofford, who we played a year ago, and in a very close game at our place. And Coach Perry, again, has done a great job with his team. Older, playing great basketball at the right time of year.
Question here on the right.
Rob Lewis with VolQuest.com. Coach, I know you've got a bunch of seniors, but to get here with Zakai and Jemai, and for them to finish all 4 years of their career in this tournament, what does it say about those two, the standard that they've helped maintain?
Well, they have really. They came in at a time when we were trying to grow the program, and they've done an incredible job. I think when they first got here, understanding their role at that time, but knowing that at some point in time that the baton would be handed to them, and they have done a phenomenal job really for all 4 years. But when you think about this year's team coming back with Jordan Gainey, who was a part of it last year, and Cade Phillips, and then obviously losing JP early, but they've done a great job blending our new guys in from the time they walked on campus almost a year ago. They talked about how we do things, and oftentimes we'll leave it up to those guys to take care of situations that arise, and both of them have been just really great captains.
Here on the left.
Wes Rucker, 24/7 Sports. Rick, you've been in enough of these tournaments and been to a lot of different buildings. Having such good familiarity with a building, can that matter at all going into something like this?
I don't know if it really does. I think if you talk about being in it, people don't realize how extremely hard it is just to win one game in this tournament, let alone try to win the whole thing. But I think by the time that in our situation, we've played in here obviously, but I don't know if it's a big deal. I don't really know. I would think not, to be quite honest with you. I just think that guys have played a lot of basketball this year, and right now they're focused on just trying to continue to do what they've done to get here. And I think that's as far as getting some time in the gym to go shoot. Players adjust pretty quickly with that.
Right next to him.
Teresa Walker, the Associated Press. Rick, you just got into 10th by yourself for career wins. This region has got a handful of coaches with, I think, 7 Final Fours. Still, that group is looking for that first national title. Is there, when there's that point where you're good, you're successful, productive, but not quite there yet, is it pressure? Is there a word for it, or is it become motivational at some point, or is it just sometimes that's the way things happen from year to year?
Well, I think there's always motivation to win. And I think every coach that's ever coached the game, we dream of winning a national championship. There's no question about it. But there's only one every year that's going to end up being the last team standing there on Monday night. And through my time in it, we've had teams that fought hard to get here, and getting here was you don't ever take it for granted. There's many players that never had the chance to be a part of this, and which I think is the greatest sporting event in our country. But as coaches, we want to win. There's no doubt we want to win. Do we want to win national championships? No doubt about it. And you do everything you can from the time that you start in the preseason with your team to prepare them and hope that you get here and hope that it breaks your way. But it's hard whether you lose in the first round or whether you lose if you're losing the national semifinals, and I'm sure the same feeling is if you lose on Monday. It's because everything's come to an abrupt end just quickly, and that's always it's tough. It really is, but the motivation to win, whether you've been coaching 2 years, 5 years, 25, 35, 40, is you want to win the national championship.
On the right.
Rick, Ben Baby with ESPN. Bruce was up here a little earlier talking about the level of investment over the last few years. You've been in the conference now for a while. How have you seen that level of investment top down really kind of develop over the years? And do you feel like that's a big reason why the conference was so strong this season?
Are you talking about the improvement of our league?
Oh, league, yeah, and the level of investment that it seems like athletic directors and universities have made.
There's 10 years ago, I mentioned it last week, 10 years ago in the play-in game in Nashville, Bruce and I were in that game together. But also remember the very first meeting that year for me at Destin, and Commissioner Sankey came in and gave a pretty harsh talk to the coaches in the league and said that I know that we haven't done all that we can do, that he would tell you, I think, that Commissioner Slive had started moving the needle in that direction. But he knew that there had to be a commitment from all the universities. He knew that he had to take over and get the officiating where it needed to get to. And I think he's done that, certainly. A big part was scheduling. I mean, we're in charge of our non-league schedule. And at the time, our league was probably about as bad as any league in the country in terms of how we scheduled non-league. And then you go back, everything that has happened in the 10 years has been a commitment from the top down. You see, I think at one time, maybe athletic directors at one time felt like you couldn't be good in every sport. But I remember that first meeting, Commissioner Sankey said, we're good in every sport except basketball, consistently. And he said, we need to be there. And I'm fortunate that I work for, I think, truly one of the great athletic directors in the country who expects, wants, and is going to do everything he can to help our coaches at Tennessee to compete at the very highest level. And he knows what needs to do it. He understands it. But the commitment has to come from the top, certainly on every campus. And I tell everyone, I think we've got the best administrators in all of sports with Randy Boyd and Donnie Plowman. And the fact they went out and hit a absolutely grand slam with Danny White and the staff he's put together is that's where it starts. And because coaches, I haven't coached against any bad coaches. I really haven't. I've coached against coaches that haven't had the same resources along the way. And sometimes you can win some of the time like that, but not overall at the level that you want to be able to sustain it.
On the left, third row.
Wes Rucker, 24/7 Sports. Rick, when you went back and watched parts of that Florida game and some of the rebounding stuff, was that more about what those guys were doing or things that your guys, for whatever reason, weren't able to get done?
Well, when I look at that game, I mean, Florida did what they had to do. There's a lot of things that go into it, but you got to give them credit. They're post guys. I mean, you come up with 15 offensive rebounds that lead to second chance points, paint points. And that was the difference in the game. And even when we were able to maybe get a stop or they missed a shot and they could go get it and score, kick out, those are devastating body blows that really hurt. And but you got to give them total credit. They just dominated the backboard. And the frustrating thing was, at our place we did a much better job, and that was the number one emphasis that we placed in that game, and we just didn't get it done. But again, you got to give them credit for getting it done because they had something to do with the reason we didn't get it done. And we've got to have a different mindset, certainly, in this next game.
Anything else on the right?
Yeah, Rick, Ben Baby again with ESPN.com. In order for y'all to make a deep run, what's been the biggest point of emphasis you've made maybe over the last week and you want to hammer home this weekend that y'all need to do well in order to maybe be better than y'all have earlier this season and go as deep as y'all want to go?
Well, by now we need to understand truly what goes into making you lose basketball games. Getting out rebounded by 15 rebounds is something that's going to make you lose a basketball game. So I think it goes back to the absolute focus, details, competitive spirit, just working as hard as you can and understand the importance of every possession. I think every team, I'm not sure many teams will change what they do up to this point because you want to do what got you here where your players realize, hey, this is the next step and what got us here is what's got us here. But it's the focus with a game plan and really understanding that it's really hard to win this time of year.
Anything else? Coach, we appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you all.
Good luck.